Hi everyone, and welcome to the third and final appointment of POLI.design Open Days. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm Sofia D'Alessandro, and today I have the pleasure to be moderating the presentation of POLI.design Specializing Master in Premium Design Management. Here with me there is Professor Arturo Dell'Acqua Bellavitis, the Vice Director of the program, and we also have Professor Lorenzo Morganti, the Didactic Coordinator of the program, who is connected remotely all the way from China. So actually, I also would like to remind to you that at the end of the presentation there will be a Q&A session, so feel free to type your questions in the dedicated chat box so that we can address them at the end of the presentation. So before leaving the floor to Professor Dell'Acqua, I would just like to give you a few words about the new positioning of POLI.design. The claim "Unlock Your Design Energy" means our commitment to recognizing and enhancing the unique potential and differences of each student. We aim to nurture personal attitudes and inclinations, offering a supportive environment that empowers students to become professionals ready to assume leadership roles and tackle the complex challenges of today. Now let's move into the presentation, and I'll leave the floor to Professor Dell'Acqua. Thank you and enjoy.
So, good morning or good afternoon, it depends where you are listening from. I would like to focus, which is the idea at the basis of this course, We thought that it was very important for design students to achieve some knowledge about management, because many students after graduation, they realize they are not so creative, and so it's very important in companies to be able to deal with the managers of a company as well. Moreover, we have seen in the past editions that there are many students which maybe attended different university courses in languages, philosophy, or different subjects, and at a certain time they realize they would like to work in the luxury area, As you know, Italy is very important because of that. Not only because of garment, but when we speak about luxury, we see it in a much wider way. We should say accessories is very important. Maybe you are not aware that Milan area is one of the key areas in the world for cosmetics, which is very important for the revenues of fashion companies as well, And also we deal together with what is nowadays the keywords in luxury, which is lifestyle. Companies are not offering only a product, but they are offering to clients a real lifestyle. So if you happen to come to Milan, you will see how Prada, Armani, all this kind of company entered into different areas of business, enlarging the range of products they are offering. That's why they say we are not offering you any longer a specific product, but we offer to all of our clients a real lifestyle, So we have seen in the past editions also students coming from the School of Business, that they realize that so many times they are not able to talk in a proper way with designers, not to understand the needs of designers in expressing themselves. That's why we decided to, in a way, define this kind of premium design management title, which in a way deals with lots of different areas in which Milan is really the top district in the world, You will discover also in our courses, the difference between French brands compared to Italian ones, and you will discover that Italy is the big producer of luxury products for many companies which are branded French, but they are produced in Italy. And in the past edition, during our company visits, students could see Christmas presents that would be in the shop windows for next Christmas, and that were already starting to be produced by our companies in Como or by our companies in Umbria and so on. Now I give, these are the key points why we decided that it was very important to give the student this idea. Also because we realize that many students coming from Asia, many times they also plan to develop their own business in their country. And of course, they have great skills, but of course, they need to know how to promote a brand. It's not enough to be very good in producing, but if you don't find the proper strategies, which are different according to different markets, you can't be successful. And so we train the students also to understand the different environments, moral issues, which change a lot from Europe compared to USA or to Asia. And that's, in a way, the goal of our master. Now I think Professor Morganti will explain to you in a deeper way how it's structured and how it's going to be organized.
Okay, thank you, Professor Dell'Acqua, for this introduction to the theme and subjects of premium design management. As you can all already see from the screen, the course is starting next November, so this very year. You see the available seats as well, 25, and it will, of course, deliver in present. So this is quite important. We are all very lucky, and finally we passed to the in-presence modality, which is, of course, much more interactive, much more lively than the, of course, online kind of courses. The overall amount of hours, including, of course, both in-class taught lectures and, of course, study, workshops, any activities, is 1,500 for 60 credits, like all first-level masters, which, as you know, is a title recognized all around Europe. We have already been introduced, of course, so the director is Professor Ingarama, and the technical director is Professor Dell'Acqua, who just introduced the course, and I'm, of course, very glad to be the didactic coordinator of this course as faculty. I think that you have already been introduced to the goals. In brief, we can say that this is a common language that we're trying to build between, of course, designers and managers. This is also why we are very glad to welcome students with both backgrounds, so background from economics and humanities, and also, of course, design, so that even when they work together for the project works, we push them to cooperate together so that they will recreate a sort of environment pretty similar to what they will eventually find in their future career in a real company and within brands, whenever working for some brands, of course, either in the field of fashion, but also in many other fields that do belong to the sector of premium design, which is what we generally define as affordable luxury. The structure of the course, as I have already, let's say, hinted at, includes both theoretical and practical activities. The practical activities, of course, includes both workshops, the project works, where the professor will provide you with a company-specific brief, so something quite close to real, of course, company briefs. At times, there will also be companies participating. This is not compulsory. There are, of course, workshops dedicated to product, to communication, and to retail, in which there might be the participation also of some brands. And as far as, of course, the brands are regarded, we will have also field trips so that you will get to know directly some of these brands. You will be able to enlarge your network, to know people, and also to see outside of the university what the companies are doing here in Milano. A part of the lectures will be delivered by Sole 24 Ore Business School, which I guess all of the Italian students already know, being the 24 Ore business, the main economic newspaper and magazine here in Italy, and therefore they have an expertise, of course, on management. This is why we are cooperating with them to have this specific focus on management, namely with short modules dedicated to marketing, to pricing, to CRM. But this is not, of course, the only part of our course because, as Sophia said at the very beginning, still the main objective is that of unlocking your design energy so that even the students coming from a background of design will be asked to take the pen and start working on creative concepts. So, of course, they will be asked to be a part of the process and to work actively on the briefs that they will provide it with. The starting date of the teaching activities is November this very year, 2024, and the total amount of hours of teaching activities will be 950, which will be divided into 350 hours of curricular internship or professionalizing project and 200 hours of final exam preparation, plus, of course, in-class lectures and workshops. So theory, practice, internship, field trips, and also thesis. The idea is that step by step, you will build your approach toward, of course, the world of businesses, and you will be, of course, helped by the professors and from us mentoring your project, so that from the in-class activities, little by little, you will be prepared to what will happen afterwards. One thing which is not mentioned here, but that is also quite interesting, is that, of course, as you know, as all Polytechnical alumni, you will have also the possibility to access to the network of the PolyMe alumni, which is also quite interesting. And the professional outcomes that you see here is, of course, that of providing you with more in-depth knowledge of topics related to the design of new marketing, management, understanding, a thorough understanding of the manufacturing process concerned to a luxury product. And when we say luxury, as I said before, we are directly targeting the sector of affordable luxury, which, as you know, is the biggest one in terms of consumers and also in terms of revenues. And of course, we always have to remember that the luxury market has been one of the main sectors that has incredibly recovered soon after the pandemics, so that it was less impacted, of course, in comparison to many other sectors. And I think that we have highlighted the main, let's say, elements of this master. Of course, Premium Design has also shown a high level of innovation and vitality. So not only the ability of recovering quickly after the pandemics, but also the possibility to foster new professions and new job positions. And as Professor Dell'Acqua already highlighted, I think that this could be also a good choice for all of you who wanted to start, why not, a startup, a project of their own in the future, maybe coming from some countries, so having a lot of interest in this, but maybe not having many case studies, many examples to take a look at. And this is why, of course, we do believe that Milano can still offer many possibilities. And I will now give back the floor to Sophia for the final rounds. And thank you, everybody, for being here
Thank
today.
you so much, Professor Morganti, for the insightful presentation, and Professor Dell'Acqua as well for giving us all the details about the master. I would just kindly ask Professor Morganti to go forward to the next slide also. So
yes, yes. The partners.
Sorry, I meant the slide with all the admission procedure, but if you want to say a few words about the partners, feel free.
No.
Okay, no worries.
I already mentioned the partnership, so we can already go for the
which is quite an important part for you guys who are connected. So as you can see, there is a QR code on the slide that you can scan in order to access the web page of the Specializing Master, and right there you can find all the formal requirements, and you will have to create your own account in order to start the application process. Once you have created the account, you will have to upload all the required documents in order to complete and send the application. You can decide whether you want to complete the application right at the moment of the creation of the account or even afterwards. These are all the specific admission requirements for the program, and then you can see all the deadlines for EU graduated citizens. The deadline is October 18, while for non-EU citizens, the deadline is 1 month before September 18. Also, please be aware that all the applications are processed in chronological order, so don't wait until the very last moment to apply if you don't want to risk to lose your spot in the classroom.
Can I add something about
Please,
this issue?
of course.
I have a kind of advice for students coming from Asia, particularly students coming from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India.
Yeah.
Take your time, please, students. We want you to be in Milan, not to be online. We usually have some problems because you take time to get the visa. So make your decision in time and apply for the visa, because we know that from those embassies it takes a long time, and it would be a real pity just to follow the courses online.
Yeah.
We tried to, in a way, help the students who couldn't get the visa, asking the permission to have some lessons online until you get the visa, but you lose a lot. So take your time, do it in proper time so that you can come in Milan when we start. Because it's very important to follow lessons, but I must add that you must also see what the city has to offer, you know.
Sure.
It's a fashion capital, so there are lots of events, museums, things that, for example, in Southern Asia you are not so used to visit, you know. While you will see how important it is to be inspired by what is going on in the city. So we always want you to follow our lessons, but we also push you to go out and enjoy all that the city has to offer. Milan is not so big, so it's easy for you to take advantage of all what the city has to offer. And I think that would be really very important.
Absolutely. Thank you, Professor Dell'Acqua, for highlighting that. We couldn't agree more. So please listen to Professor Dell'Acqua advice. And also I would like to take this chance to thank all the admission team of POLI.design that is always working to support the students' applications and admissions and the bureaucratical procedure, which sometimes can be
very good in planning whatever, you know.
Absolutely. So just a couple of more information interesting for you. You will have the opportunity to already start your selection process by taking your interview on Tuesday, June 25th, and on the following day, Wednesday, June 26th, from 2 p.m. Italian time, so register for the interview. Also, by visiting the webpage of the Specializing Master, you will see that we have created some discount promotions that we designed for you to show you our commitment to support your educational path here in POLI.design and your future as well. So let's now move on to the Q&A session to see what questions the students have. So, Professor, could you please kindly give us some insights about the extra activities held during the master, such as company visits, fairs, etc.?
Yeah. Well, I realized that, for example, let's say in a theoretical courses like History of Design, you know, we could show, and we do that, show you the slides and so on. But what is more important, in Milan we have 2 design museums, which is quite unique. And then we also have fashion museum. We have an historical one with a great collection until Mary Quant's garments that she offered to the city of Milan when she visited the city. And then we have Armani, who just opened his own warehouse, you know. He called it Armani Silos because it was a granary formerly, which has been transformed into a fashion museum, you know. So we take you to see these kind of places. Moreover, we give you specific tasks going around the city with very specific things you have to have a look at, you know. Like, for example, we quite often take you to a cemetery, and one would say a cemetery, which is the meaning, you know. But it's very interesting for students coming from far away Asia, that is to say mostly from China. You see that in the West we have a different perception of, let's say, life after death. And in the meantime, you see the economical power of the city of Milan, with all the monuments which have been built in this compound, is a monumental cemetery, that if they were scattered all over the city, we would be the richest city in the world with monuments on every square. But unfortunately, they are all there, but it's a place where you can go. So for us, it's also interesting to make you discover or brush up the different styles, you know, because we know that students coming from China, they didn't study history of art, mainly the European history of art, which would be a common language with the companies you will be working for in fashion, you know. It's also very important to attend exhibitions, because when you do your internship, or in the future, when you have a permanent job, you will talk to your colleagues, you know, about what is interesting, which are the trends, which are the inspiration, the artists inspiring designers, you know. So that is very important, not only to attend lessons, but we plan with you different activities. And then company visits, it's something that students love a lot, because they really see what is going on there.
Sure.
You know?
And as you say, it's about the lifestyle and the experience, not only the theory
they
and the
realize
study.
also the story, and it's very important for our students to, in a way, learn branding and how companies, for example, we took the students to visit Loro Piana and Zegna, and you will realize what is sustainability nowadays, because Ermenegildo Zegna already in 1930 he was thinking about sustainability, but in a much wider way, not only taking care of the products, but also of the workers, which is a very Italian attitude, to take care of the people working in companies, you know. And so he planned a covered swimming pool, a hospital for the workers who were there, and he just decided to plan the factory on a slope, while it should be much easier to make it in a flat area, you know, but he did it to give job to the people of this area.
That's very interesting. Thank you, Professor. I actually have one other interesting question for you. A student said that since you spoke much about fashion, they were wondering whether the contents of the master are only linked to this field or apply also to other fields.
No, as I was saying, we speak about fashion in a wide way. That is to say, and we, in a way, go ahead the difference between fashion, accessory, cosmetics, because the key words of what you will be doing, it's linked to lifestyle. For example, last year we made the students start a kind of research on a very different area from what they are used, which was the area of porcelain and tableware, you know, because it was very interesting for them to discover the strategies of brands. In Italy we have Richard Ginori, which was bought by Gucci and now belongs to the French luxury groups, you know. But through this kind of research, they discover the different attitudes of different countries toward this specific area of business, which is very interesting, because there were important designers in Milan like Gio Ponti who did it. And then we push the students to visit that shop on the Abrera, and they come back and say, but this is not a shop, it's more than that, it's a museum, you know. But we say, yes, but it also works as a shop. While in Milan there is a very famous shop, Corso Como 10, which used to be beautiful, but was not successful from a business point of view. Now it has been bought by people from Bergamo who own the best fashion shop in Bergamo, and they are very good in promoting the brand, keeping the value of Corso Como 10, which belonged to the founder of Italian Vogue, you know, but transforming it in a more commercial way, which is important, because being a company, it should give revenues to the owners.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. Thank you so much for all these insights. It was very interesting. I believe we don't have any more questions, so hurry up to reserve your spot in the Specializing Master Design for Premium Management. Thank you once again, Professor Morganti, for being here with us, even though only virtually, and to Professor Dell'Acqua. And thank you all for attending the presentation. Please don't disconnect. Stay put if you want to hear more about POLI.design and all its services. Thank you again.